Hey guys, welcome back to Explainer X. Today, I am going to recap a 1971 romance drama movie named Summer of 42. So, let's begin. At the beginning of this movie, Hermie tells her story where he spent her 1942 summer. The movie now goes in flashback and Hermie has two friends, one named Benji and the other Oski. These three friends often used to play on the beach. Once when these three were watching a house hidden from the bushes, they see that a very beautiful lady comes out from inside the house, along with her husband, and he is a soldier. After a while, the soldier takes his wife inside the house. Seeing the beauty of that lady, all three were very much attracted. Then Oski and Benji start leaving from here, but Hermie didn't feel like going from there and still he wants to see that lady. Her beauty is still not lost from his eyes. The next day again, we see these three on the beach. There are many beautiful girls in this beach. There are many couples. Here these three friends talk among themselves about how they will lose their virginity. They all bring a book, in which it is written that how to lose your virginity. In this book, how to get intimate with a lady, which is written in full detail, and these three read together and both of them kiss each other. After that the soldier starts leaving from here. That lady calls him bye and sadly goes inside the ship. Hermie, who is watching all this and seeing that lady's sensual body, he becomes very attractive and Hermie wants to get that lady and starts looking at her with wrong eyes. After this, when these three friends are on the beach, the lady comes here to take a bath. Oski tells her that Dorothy is too old for her age. Here Hermie says that he loves her. Oski and Benji challenge him to talk and show him if he really loves him. Here Hermie goes to talk to the lady. Let us tell you that the name of this lady is Dorothy. And at this time Dorothy is sleeping on the beach. As soon as Hermie is about to say something to Dorothy, only then her friends come and start making noise. When Hermie runs away from here and after that the three friends start fighting among themselves. The Oski beats the Hermie a lot, due to which her nose starts bleeding. One day when Hermie is walking through the market, he sees that Dorothy is carrying a lot of items that she can't handle. All the items fall from his hands. Hermie goes to him and offers to help him. Here Dorothy accepts Hermie's offer. After this, both of them head towards Dorothy's house. On the way, Oski and Benji call Hermie, but Hermie ignores them both. Then Hermie comes to Dorothy's house and praises himself in front of Dorothy. He says that he also wants to be a soldier when he grows up and has applied for soldier. Here Dorothy says that he will definitely become a soldier, after which Hermie says that he is a great musician and he is very interested in music. Dorothy tells him which instrument he plays. After all, Hermie tells him that he knows how to whistle very well. Here, while impressing Dorothy, Hermie tries to drink the hot coffee very quickly. While the coffee burns her mouth, Dorothy offers her ice. When Hermie is on her way home, Dorothy gives her something in packing, where Hermie says that he will come to see her again. Outside the house, both friends are waiting for him for a long time. They both ask what was Hermie doing in his house for so long. Hermie tells him that he was having a drink with her, and the packing which is in Hermie's hand, her friends take from her. Now that these three friends plan to lose their virginity, all three go to a theater to watch a movie. Here Oski sees three girls and starts befriending them. He says why not watch the movie with her, and these three girls agree to watch the movie with their three friends. Here the Oski cleverly kept the prettiest girl with him while giving the worst girl to Hermie. Just then Dorothy comes here. She says hi to Hermie and tells her that she has to remove some stuff in her house. Can Hermie come and help her? Hermie immediately says yes to it. When Hermie is going to see a movie with her friends, their money is running out. Here, Oski and Hermie are calculating money among themselves, how to buy tickets for all of these and how to feed ice cream to the three girls, although they manage everything. While watching the film, Oski tries to get closer to his partner, but she refuses him. Benji also wants to do something similar, but he too is not successful in this work. Hermie, who is with less beautiful girl, also tries to touch her, however he manages to do this and is jealous to see Oski here. After watching the movie, Oski tells Hermie that he was getting too close with the girl. The next day, Hermie arrives at Dorothy's house to help her. Here when Dorothy climbs the ladder, Hermie sees her body part and is attracted by seeing it. A feeling of being intimate awakens in her. Hermie trembles when it's her turn to climb the ladder. Dorothy asks her why he's so nervous. Hermie doesn't answer. After putting everything down, Hermie tells Dorothy that he likes her, and here Dorothy also kisses his forehead. At this time Hermie has lipstick marks on her forehead. When he comes out, his friends ask where are these lipstick marks on his forehead while Hermie makes excuses about it. Later Hermie tells Oski that he has a different plan to lose virginity. He will call Aggie and Miriam under the pretext of roasting marshmallow and will do it all night on the beach. Oski gets a book. At that time he gets information that a detention is needed to do all this. Now the two together make a plan to buy a contraceptive by going to the drugstore. Oski does not go himself and sends Hermie very cleverly. Hermie goes inside the store, but he is very nervous. He doesn't understand how to tell a shopkeeper that she needs a detention. At this time an old lady comes, seeing that he becomes even more ashamed when the old lady leaves from here. Then Hermie goes to talk to the shopkeeper of the guts, but he says ice cream because of his detention. The shopkeeper gives him ice cream. After that, when he is about to speak again, then who is spoken from his mouth? Here, whoever the shopkeeper puts on that ice cream. The next time the Hermie is about to speak again, a napkin is called from her mouth. Here the shopkeeper also gives her a napkin. In all of this, Hermie becomes so nervous that the shopkeeper finally understands what Hermie needs and gives her the detention box, and on this side finally Hermie has bought the detention, all this according to the planning. This evening all this is found in the middle of the beach, Aggie and Miriam with her, or this time Hermie is sitting with Aggie on the pretext of roasting marshmallow, while Oski and Miriam are with the other side of the middle. Here Oski says lose his virginity with Miriam. When his detention is over, he asks Hermie again for detention, comes and Hermie gives it to him. After some time Oski comes again, he demands detention this time too. Hermie gives it to him but asks him what is he doing, so Oski tells him he read the book and is following the same. Hermie asks him what is written in that book. At this time Oski makes fun of Hermie. Here Aggie asks Hermie what Oski comes to ask her again and again. Hermie doesn't tell her anything, but Aggie gets up and goes to see her. She sees Oski and Miriam getting intimate and she leaves after getting upset. Thus Hermie's planning fails while Oski succeeds. Here the next day Hermie is alone on the beach and he sees Dorothy writing a letter. He walks over to her and asks her what she is writing this letter for. Dorothy tells her that she is writing it for her husband. Over here Hermie says he is coming for a walk tonight in his neighborhood, so if he wants, he can come to meet Dorothy. After this he goes home and prepares himself very well. He wants to go to Dorothy's house with great pleasure this evening. When he is on the way he meets Oski and Oski tells him that Miriam is currently appendixed and is in mainland. He tells his sad story, but Hermie is not interested in the story. He is very excited to meet Dorothy and he ignores Oski. And when Hermie reaches Dorothy's house, then there is a lot of silence in Dorothy's house. And there is a bottle of whiskey as well as cans of cigarettes. At this time a sad music is playing. Hermie doesn't understand anything that what has happened in this house. All of a sudden, then Hermie sees a government ladder. In that ladder it is written that Dorothy's husband has died. Her husband is going to the plane, and when the plane is over France, that plane is attacked and everyone is killed, and then Dorothy comes out of her room. At this time she is very sad. Hermie goes to her and asks her, explains, then only Dorothy hugs Hermie. And at this time both of them do not say anything and there is silence all around. Then Hermie and Dorothy dance and Dorothy's eyes go to Hermie's face and Dorothy starts kissing Hermie. Here and both of them come very close to each other and inside the bedroom. Both of them are naked. After that both of them are intimate. After some time when Hermie wakes up, he sees that Dorothy is in the balcony and this time she is smoking. Hermie says good night to her and leaves from here. The next morning Oski comes to meet Hermie. He tells that Miriam is now slowly recovering but he is very sad this time. Hermie suddenly goes to Dorothy's house. Here Dorothy has left this house, and while leaving she leaves a letter for Hermie. She writes in the letter that she will always remember Hermie and whatever happened between them, it was very special. Hope Hermie will understand his situation. After that Hermie sits in front of that house and sees that house, and he still miss Dorothy, and with this the movie ends here. I hope you enjoyed the video, so click any video of 3 of them and enjoy next. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel and please like the video and tell us in the comment how you like the video. I see you soon.